Hello and welcome back to Rome on yet another beautiful day. Here from my balcony, I've switched up accommodation. I'm now staying here in YellowSquare Hostel, also near the train station. Let me give you a quick room tour. This is the room I've been staying in at YellowSquare Hostel. Private room, little bedside table, ensuite, which is nicely furnished with a modern design, and of course the balcony views, rays of sunshine and other building views, little garden courtyard down there, all pretty close to Roma Termini, just 5 minutes walk in that direction. Also dorms available as it's a hostel, and tons of things to do. There's a bar, there's places to eat, you can play table tennis and socialize here. So if you're interested, the link will be in the description. Now, where am I heading today? To the Vatican City, which is a small city-state home and headquarters of the Catholic Church, where the Pope lives, entirely surrounded by the city of Rome, and officially the smallest country in the world. Having made my way over to the other side of Rome, I'm here at the Via della Conciliazione. Forgive my terrible pronunciation. This here is the road leading up to the Vatican City. Commissioned by Mussolini, actually, between 1936 and 1950. This road was built. And in fact, it was Mussolini himself, the fascist dictator, who actually gave Vatican City its independence as a sovereign state. And today, it is the smallest country in the world. So let's walk up the road and enter the Holy See, the Vatican City. Roadblock on the second half of this road, although pedestrians seem to be allowed to walk along it, as I've seen a number of Italians doing so I thought it must be fine. There is a lot of nice buildings, and already you can see a flag of the Vatican City, the yellow and the white, flying above there. But we're still in Italy, technically. I'll let you know once I've officially crossed the border. Now, according to Google Maps, this is where the border starts and ends, from Italy to the Vatican. And Google Maps generally is a decent enough source to rely upon. I mean, we don't want to get started on Kashmir or something like that, but with this, I think we're good to go. So let's cross over now, and I'll show you the details of what it's like. Ingresso Piazza San Pietro, St. Peter's Square, and entering here. And there we go. Simple as that, we're in. No passport control, nothing of the sort. Doesn't matter if you're an EU passport holder, a Schengen visa holder. If you're in Italy, you can enter the Vatican just like that. Simply walk across. And here I am in St. Peter's Square, which is very impressive, isn't it? Some nice fountains on either side. And of course, the iconic St. Peter's Basilica right behind me. After entering, I was just told by a policeman that I'm not allowed to film with my tripod, etc. inside St. Peter's Square, but I got that shot walking in, so you saw me crossing in. I'm now back in Italy, actually. I just want to mention a couple things about the square. You will notice that there are just a ton of columns along the side, 240 in total to be exact, and on top 140 saints on either side. And the square, if you were to look at it from above, resembles a giant keyhole, and it was designed in 1667 by Gian Lorenzo Bernini. So right now I'm going to put all of my equipment away in my bag in order to pass security to reach St. Peter's Basilica at the very end there, and then once I'm through, hopefully I'll be able to take out my camera, take some shots inside, and then I'll report back to you afterwards. Past the security check and in front of St. Peter's Basilica. I'm vlogging on just my camera alone right now. No microphone, no gimbal. They're in my bag, which normally you're not allowed to take into the Vatican, but they didn't pick up on it, so I didn't necessarily have to store my luggage anywhere, which is good. When I pick up my camera now, it's going to be a little shaky, so I apologize. It's not what I'm normally used to in my vlogs. Views of St. Peter's Square from just here, and the Basilica just up behind me, which I'm going to enter right now. Completely free to enter, by the way, and you're allowed to take pictures inside, just not tripods. So I've just left St. Peter's Basilica, having soaked it all in with my eyes, and I got a few shots on my camera there for you, and wow, it is absolutely breathtaking. The amount of art and incredible design and architecture that's gone in there, from Michelangelo's dome to Bernini's canopy. It is just breathtaking, really, and probably up there with St. John's Co-Cathedral in Valletta, Malta, as the best church I think I've ever seen, especially the inside. If you're in Rome, you gotta go, you really do. Even if you're not really a fan of churches, it will probably change your perspective of what's possible inside an actual church. It just buzzes with history, the fixture on the wall showing all of the previous popes, and just a small list of names on the right makes up the popes of the last 100 years up to Pope Francis today. And considering how many names are there, it shows just the sheer number of popes that there's been over the last couple thousand years. Quite incredible. One thing you should bear in mind before visiting yourself is that you do need to dress fairly modestly. That means no shorts revealing the knee, no shoulders showing, and for girls, I suppose, no mini skirts. You can see I've got my trousers on, especially despite the 30-degree plus temperature here. I'm now once again outside the Vatican, protected by this wall here, which is pretty high and probably quite formidable, as I can see CCTV cameras all along it. Such a protected place, and sensitive. You'll see army and police just about everywhere. Where am I heading now? To the second place that you can visit as a tourist to the Vatican City, which is the Vatican Museums, housing some of the most magnificent works of art in the world. The Vatican Museums are huge. They contain 7 kilometers worth of corridors and rooms filled with classical and modern paintings, frescoes, sculpture, tapestries, antiques, and much more. I'll start off with some of the most notable works in the museums, the first few being located in the Sistine Chapel. You cannot take any pictures or videos inside the chapel, which is why I'm showing some that I've taken from the internet. From the moment you walk in, you will be overwhelmed by the vastly detailed frescoes which seem to take up the entire walls and ceilings of the chapel. Look directly above and you will find Michelangelo's creation of Adam directly in the middle, with the other stories from Genesis taking up the rest of the space around it. It took Michelangelo 4 years to paint the ceiling, and the image of God's finger sparking the first man to life is one of the most iconic in the history of art. Occupying the north wall of the chapel is Michelangelo's equally memorable Last Judgment, where Christ determines the fates of the souls of the dead. The saved get to stay up in heaven, and the damned are sent downwards to face demons in hell. The Sistine Chapel is also the temple in which popes are chosen and then crowned. Next up, worth mentioning, are 4 frescoed rooms painted by Raphael, Stanza di Raffaello. Originally Pope Julius II's private chambers, the Stanza della Segnatura was the first room Raphael painted, and here you'll find his great masterpiece, the School of Athens. Here, a number of philosophers and scholars surround Plato and Aristotle. The seated figure in front of the steps is believed to be Michelangelo, and Raphael also included a self-portrait in the corner. He's the young man gazing out towards the viewer with the black hat. In the rooms, I found so much immense detail in the large frescoes that I ended up standing for a long time without even realizing it, and left feeling like I hadn't really done them viewing justice, which is a term I just made up. In the Vatican Museums, you'll also find a 120-meter corridor of old maps known as the Galleria della Carta Geografica, which is cool to see for any map lover out there. Just before this long corridor of maps is one with giant tapestries depicting various scenes of the past, some of which are quite disturbing, but the one that really caught my eye came to be the portrayal of Christ's resurrection, the reactions and emotion in the subtle detail of the spectators. The Museo Pio Clementino is a pleasant courtyard containing the best of the Vatican's classical statues, including Apollo Belvedere, considered to be one of the greatest masterpieces of classical sculpture, unfortunately closed to the public for restoration at the time of my visiting. For more classical sculpture, head to the Museo Chiaramonti and Braccio Nuovo, which are effectively long corridors again, lined with thousands of statues this time. Most of these are Roman, and you should find this part of the museum to be a lot less crowded. One museum worth visiting, which is often skipped or overlooked by many visitors, is the Pinacoteca. It houses paintings dating from the 11th to 19th centuries, featuring works from Titan, Giotto, Da Vinci, and Caravaggio, amongst others. It's intriguing how secret and elusive the Vatican City seems, since there's so little of its outdoors that you can actually see. For most, St. Peter's Square, St. Peter's Basilica, and the Vatican Museums is as much as you'll set your eyes on, and I suppose that's why I found the random, momentary glimpses to the inside world of the Vatican from one of the various museum windows all the more captivating. It's strange to think that the Vatican even operates as its own sovereign state, with yellow postboxes dotted about, issuing its own passports, having its own flag, national anthem, stamps, license plates, media outlets, and even printing its own euros. The Pope lives tucked away somewhere behind St. Peter's Basilica, and Rome still plays very much an integral part so that the microstate is able to even function on a daily basis. There is one more thing you can do here in the Vatican as a tourist, but it's a bit harder to get to, which is the Vatican Gardens. You need to book in advance, and then you'll go on a 2-hour tour, walking tour of the gardens, or you can book in advance for a 45-minute bus tour. If you are interested in going even harder as a tourist in the Vatican, then certainly you can do those things, which may be well worth your time. I haven't had the time to add those to my itinerary, but the Vatican isn't very big. It's only 1/8 the size of Central Park in New York. It really is tiny, but from here in Rome, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.